second part is the subjective part, and that's the part about how well is it done, and that's done by an independent group of judges. So people who weren't on the floor don't know the process of how it was completed or what was done. They're just looking at the end product. And so what they're going to judge is they're going to judge the haircut. So the rubric is there, and the rubric is out of 6. And you'll notice that it ranges from very poor workmanship, and that there's several visible errors to just stand back and look, all the way up to superior. So it's the best one on the floor. It's the standout mannequin. You can see that all aspects of that haircut were completed very, very well. Then there's the hair color, and so we would go all the way from poorly executed with patches of poor color, all the way up to superior in all aspects. You're going to notice here that we talk a little bit about the staining issues. We look for staining that happens on the skin, because that goes to speak about application. So we expect the student to have applied a barrier cream. We expected that barrier cream wasn't over applied and that it's all over their face, because again, that would speak to authentic practice. We wouldn't do that to a client, so we don't expect you to do it to a mannequin. So we would look that barrier cream was applied and that color was applied in a proper manner and that there's no excessive staining going on. We'll look for places by the ear, just as a client would.
Just like if there's an undercut or a really short clip ring, is the scalp stained? Is it looking, can you see the blotchy color on the inside skin? It doesn't have to be just hairline. Is it messy and blotchy throughout that bottom part or top? And you know what we're talking about. You have students in your class that just slap on a color and they're hot mess and they've got they shave down their mannequin and they've got blobs of green or whatever. We're kind of looking for that too, because you wouldn't want your client to walk out with a stained scalp.
So mannequins can be difficult. We understand they're a plastic. It's they tend to be very absorbent, but again, these are high quality mannequins, and the staining is minimal as long as that barrier cream has been applied properly. The next part of that would be the color palette. So the color palette needs to have not been extreme. It needs to have been exactly what was asked. One of the things in there is it's not evident at all. So the color palette that was picked or the color that was picked was not produced, all the way up to perfectly executed. So it's great. It's right on the target that was given to the student competitor. The other thing is the wishes. So they're going to grade the wishes as to how well they were executed. So if they're not there at all, they obviously can't grade that. So on that category, it's none are evident. At least one is attempted but poorly executed. They were all clearly attempted, but with limited success. They were clearly attempted with moderate success. They're well established, or they're perfectly executed. So again, to get to that top end mannequin, our top end winner, that has to have been done very flawlessly. So if the tattoo, for example, again, I'll go back to a national competition that we had. One of the wishes was a tattoo, and in the tattoo there were several arcs. Arcs were counted. So there 9? There were 9 arcs. So that was one of the questions. Did the competitor put 9 arcs in, or did the competitor put 7? They were perfect, but there wasn't it's not exactly the same.
And this is not something you can talk to your student about, because they see the picture without you being present. So when you're training your student, it's a good point to put across is if whatever you see in the picture is probably exactly what they want. So pay attention to the details.
So again, when we look at something like that, that mannequin would probably end up in a category 5 instead of a category 6. And so that's how the subjective judging would work. And then there's the finished style. So no styling complete, looks unfinished, not finished to professional standard, has a product issue, not enough, too much, or it has a high level of style suitable for the cut and color, and it's superior. So again, that product placement has just gone one step further, and you can see that great shine and finish has really been achieved.
And
So.
probably the best words you can use with your student when helping train them is clean, clean, clean. Everything needs to be clean.
Right. Intentional texture needs to be shown if that was one of the wishes. You need to see that. It needs to be very clearly obvious. One of the things I tell the competitors just in their orientation, make it so obvious that I would never have to guess. I would never have to say, well, is it there? Isn't it there? It should be right there. We should be able to see it as we walk by. We can see that that wish is incorporated. Okay, so that's test 1. It's a fun one, and it's a nice one for the students to start with to get their feet wet. Again, it's probably the most progressive of the group. Again, we just want to reiterate, the skills scopes have changed. We're much more commercial at this point. They're looking for a well-trained stylist. They're not looking for a competition stylist who's going into the ABA or any other high-level hair competition to show specific skill. This is general skill. We're looking for a general practitioner who is above average.
Somebody that's going to be your money maker. Think about that.